No one that plays League of Legends needs any convincing that jungle is one of the best roles in the game. However, if you want to climb out of any rank, diamond and below, then I'm here to tell you that jungle is the best role to do that with. Don't believe me? Well, check this out. Let's take Mordekaiser as an example. In Silver, which 33% of the player base resides in, Mordekaiser is the third best top laner with a 52.57% win rate. However, switch his role to jungle and suddenly he becomes the strongest jungler at that ELO with a 53.93% win rate. Mordekaiser is known mostly as a top laner, and yet he's objectively more powerful in low ELO as a jungler. Here's what's really crazy though. Switch the ranks to Diamond Plus and his win rate drops from 53.93 to 49.24 in the jungle. And surprisingly, he's now a better top laner at a 50.48% win rate. Essentially, it's only in low ELO that a top lane champion is better in the jungle. We can see the exact same pattern on other champions. Take Maokai as another one. He's mainly played either top or support, or he has a 52% win rate in both roles. And yet, switch him to jungle and he's the highest at 52.5. A small increase, yes, but that's not the real shocker. Swap the ranks to Diamond Plus, and you'll notice his win rate in the jungle plummets by 3%, while he stays top tier in the other roles. If we look at Tarik, another champion that has normally played support, we can see that his support win rate is pretty much identical in both Diamond and low ELO. But if we switch the role to jungle, the win rate remains the same for low ELO and plummets once you hit Diamond. Effectively, the jungle role is just outright stronger than other roles to the point that even suboptimal picks can thrive in the jungle and maintain win rates that are equal or even better than when they go in their preferred lane. The catch being that this seems to be only happening in ranks below Diamond. When you look at high elo and see stats for champions that are considered strong junglers like Rek'Sai and Elise, you can see that they have absurd numbers, both boasting win rates over 52%. And when you look at the same strong champions in low elo, their stats plummet. Rek'Sai loses 5% win rate and Elise goes to a ridiculously bad 45%. So what gives? Why do we get the opposite effect when we look at the standard jungle champions? The answer is not that these champions are just bad in low elo. It's that the players piloting them cannot take advantage of what makes good junglers broken. And because of that, the junglers that by comparison are normally quite weak get to flourish. Jungle is absurdly strong, but if you're lower than Diamond, you haven't even started to tap into the role's full potential. In today's guide, we're going to let you know exactly why that is and unlock your next level of strength. Before we get into that though, I just want to mention that our jungle courses at skillcap.com are world class. We have over 40 courses and counting just on jungling alone. No one else can compare. We also release new exclusive guides every single week that you can only find on our website. And it doesn't stop there, as we also have a catalog of over 1,200 Smurf commentaries that get updated every week, where our challenger experts show you exactly how to climb out of the ranks you find yourself stuck in. Maybe you want something more personal. Well, we have you covered with one-on-one coaching from the best players in the world. In fact, we're so confident you'll get results that we guarantee you'll climb 5 divisions while actively using our service. So, what are you waiting for? Get the rank you've always wanted and click the link in the description below. Alright, now back to the guide. In Challenger, strong junglers are strong because they have agency, which is basically just having the ability to snowball the game and control the outcome. To do this, players need to leverage their champion's strengths and brute force plays. When all players are good, champion strength determines a lot of what plays are actually possible within the game. And by using the insane early game strength of something like Rek'Sai, you can bully the game and bring it to a close. In low elo, champion strength becomes completely irrelevant. I've done challenges where I'm forced to play things like Yuumi jungle or Nami jungle in gold and plat, and even with these massive handicaps, I can still win the game. It's not because I'm doing things well, rather it's that my opponent is not going to play well enough to make my pick a liability. In Challenger, if I were to play the game perfectly but be playing Yuumi jungle, I just wouldn't have the agency required to win, because my opponent's champion would be so much stronger than mine that I wouldn't actually be able to do anything, even with perfect play. Let's take a look at a gold game as an example, to see why no matter what champion you pick, you'll be able to get away with murder. Volibear starts this game with an absolutely absurd advantage. He gets an early gank off on top, and then is able to secure the crab, farm some more camps, and return gank to kill top lane again. At this point, it would be hard pressed to argue and say that Volley isn't ahead, and in a great position to win the game. However, he's going to let this slip extremely quickly. Low elo players often have no problem finding leads. It's the keeping the lead that's the hard part. There are two main ways that players throw their advantage. The first is by not actually cashing out. Gold is one of the main resources when it comes to snowballing. More items opens up new plays, you can fight people you couldn't before, do your camps quicker than you could previously, and it overall just accelerates your game. If you don't spend it, then you're not actually any stronger, even if you should be. Volley should have pushed top with Sejuani to crash the wave and just recall. Watch how long he actually stays on map here though. He runs all the way from top just to show on mid at a bad timer, cross through to find bottom crap gone, fails a bot lane gank, and then does his Krugs. Not only were all of these fruitless and completely unnecessary, the Krugs also took extra time due to not having items that would have helped speed things up. Over a minute has passed and he has accomplished exactly one thing, just one camp, while actively hurting his game. Every time Volibear showed, Lilia got the ability to counterplay somewhere on the map with full confidence. Even though she should be scared of Volley, she doesn't need to be when she has full information on his location. She gets a free gank off mid when Volley shows top for the first time, and then when he shows mid, she runs top to clean up a kill. Of course, Volley now probably feels like his lead is slipping, because it is. Effectively, the two ganks he got that were successful were invalidated by his opponent's reaction, and this is where the second way players throw comes in. Low elo junglers fail to make their opponents confront them with a lead. The idea behind this is simple enough. A lead is only problematic for your opponents if they directly have to deal with it. If your lead is coming from items and potentially even levels, it's not problematic if the other player is allowed to just do all of their normal actions freely. They need to feel the pressure of having someone that can outduel them, outskirmish, and contest them for their resources. But this never seems to happen in low elo. Volibear actually goes bottom at a terrible time to show once again. And during that time, Lilia is actually able to recall and buy a full last chapter in boots to Volley's no items. She's up a level now, up a massive amount of items, and now one would think that Volley has messed up enough for Lilia to completely regain control of this game. So she runs bottom right out of base, and kinda just dies. Remember how bad of a position Volley was in, and how poised Lilia was to take over? That lead is just thrown right back into Volley's waiting pause. Anyways, he's back in the driver's seat again, but he just stays on map, opting to continue farming camps. Both junglers are running into the exact same two issues, so no one is really cementing themselves as a clear leader, even though they both had chances to do so. Lilia could have easily cleared her bottom camps, then heavily outpaced Volley, hitting an early level 6, potentially invading him and ganking on top side. She would have used the item lead that she got and pushed ahead, instead of throwing her advantage by fighting a heavily disadvantaged fight. Volley could have at any point also recalled earlier and invaded Lilia, but we can tell that this is just not something either one of them are thinking about. If we fast forward a few minutes after a dragon take, Volley and Lilia meet each other in mid lane to counter each other's ganks. At this point, the game is relatively even. Both junglers are of same level and similar gold spent, and we're at the tipping point of the game. Both of their mentalities are clearly showcased by what happens next. Let's watch Lilia's perspective first. She walks towards bot side and joins in the fight with the rest of her team. After securing several kills and winning, she counter jungles and heads back to her own bot side to start farming away. Now this isn't necessarily problematic in a vacuum, but let's look at what Volley did during this section. He has complete knowledge that his team is in bot river and that Lilia is headed down there, yet chooses to avoid her and starts looking to counterplay on the other side of the map. He runs towards Rift Herald and ignores the bot fight, finishing it and going back to his jungle once all is said and done. Again, nothing super problematic with this in a vacuum, but did you notice anything weird? Both of these players were completely aware of what the other was doing and what was going on, but didn't try to prevent the other from making their play, they just did their own thing. They do both get things in their own right, but the issue is that there isn't interaction between the two of them. Both of them are allowing the other to make plays and exist without pressure. If we compare this to how I like to play, I'm constantly trying to make my opponent have to confront my advantage. By simply forcing interactions with your opponent, you can weed out the junglers that have no idea how to deal with the pressure, whether it's because their champion just can't deal with it or they're unequipped as a player. Low elo players never have to deal with this amount of skirmishing and invading that high elo players will force, simply because neither player is trying to create the scenarios enough. If you start looking for more opportunities to put your opponents in uncomfortable positions, it's much easier for them to mess up and give you mistakes that you can exploit to win the game. When both players are doing their own thing, the game is relatively comfortable for everyone, and that's not something that you want if you're going to be abusing jungle to its fullest potential. The stats from earlier just help showcase my points here, but I'd rather you all actually go into your games and try it for yourself. By learning how to fight and put your opponents in these uncomfortable spots, you will start to tap into what makes jungle so good, and unlock the ability to abuse the champs that all of the challenger players absolutely love to play. Alright, before we wrap this up, let's tell you a little more about Skill-Capped. We offer a 5-division rank up guarantee and think that's a pretty crazy thing to offer. It's like a gym membership guaranteeing you'll get ripped. Your local gym would go bust if they offered that, right? Not us. We've offered this for years because our service really does work. It works so well, in fact, that we're able to produce by far the largest catalog of premium league guides on the internet. We add over 20 videos a week with over 2,000 guides curated into over 270 courses. No one can compare. We've also sent challenger players into ELO hell over 1,100 times and counting, where they commentate how to carry live. They also respond to all your questions asked. Sign up today for as little as $6.99 a month to improve fast and get the rank you've always wanted. Link in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time.